Welcome back to Leaving the Lies and Speaking Your Truth. We're here with our part 2 of our interview with Sandy Johnsman, used to be Sandy Brake. Sandy, I asked you a question just before, or I should say Mom.
Yeah.
I asked you a question just before we ended in part 1, and the question was that you never moved to Abilene, Texas to live in close proximity to the cult. Why do you think that is, and how do you think it affected your personal experience with the cult?
Well, we never moved because, let's be honest, we couldn't afford to move. You know, we lived paycheck to paycheck. So
Right.
there was no way we could afford to move to Abilene. I remember being real anxious about it and really thinking we should be there because I wanted to be there when the end came, you know,
Right.
the end times. But yeah, we could not afford to move there, and that probably was a good thing.
Right. So
You
do you
know.
think it
And
affected,
what was the second?
how did that affect your personal experience with the cult or in the cult?
How did it affect it? Not moving there?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
Oh,
think that basically,
it probably was a good thing. I mean,
right.
a positive,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, because your life wasn't totally uprooted and you were
Right,
able to
right,
kind of get back to your more, what your life was before the cult more easily because your whole life wasn't
right,
uprooted and all taken to
right.
Abilene.
We did
Because,
not have our whole life uprooted. Right.
right. Right.
So I've been curious about this, and I want to ask this, and I'll explain why I want to ask this, because we grew up in two different family cultures, and I am not as blessed as my parents were when I was growing up. You know, my father was retired military, retired police force. My mom was retired, you know, whatever, doing whatever. So living like we are now, you had to travel 3 to 4 times a year from Michigan to Texas,
Right.
get food, get gas, take off work,
Right.
do all of this stuff. How much of a financial burden was that on you throughout, I mean, the whole entire year?
Well, the reason we were able to afford to do that is because we put our tithe away, and that's what we used our second tithe for. So,
Okay.
financially, we were able to do it because of the second tithe. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to do it. But yeah, since we put that money away religiously, we were able to afford to do that.
Now, with you saying that, and that's what I was
Mhm.
hoping your answer would be,
Yeah.
we have recently learned that second tithe no longer stays with you. It goes to the House of Yahweh.
Right. I heard that.
So now people who say live in Michigan
Mm-hmm.
have to travel from Michigan to Texas 3 times a year on their own accord.
I don't know how we would have afforded it. I don't know how we would have swung it. I don't.
No, because
We
now
would have had to-
basically they say that your tithe has to be spent at the House of Yahweh, given directly to the House of Yahweh. You can't use it to put gas in your car. You can't use it for traveling expenses, to eat on the road, any of that. You have to, all that has to come out of pocket.
Yeah.
The only place you can spend second tithes now is directly at the feast grounds, handing your money directly to the House of Yahweh.
We'll call bullshit on that. And, because bullshit is bullshit. That's just Israel raking in more money. We would have had to probably put money away. We would have had to figure it out. We would have had to put money away, in order to do it.
Would you have been able to do that with doing your first and second tithe? Would you even had the financial ability to do that?
I can't answer, because I remember when we would have to put away for third tithe, and then I guess we would have had to do fourth tithe. What the hell? Then I guess we wouldn't have been able to eat and,
Pay your rent.
Pay rent. We probably wouldn't even have been able to afford to do it.
Right.
Because this is the point that I want to bring up to people. Okay, you're driving from Michigan to Texas. Now, Sandy, while you're there, the feasts are 7 days. Let's face facts, though. It was really 10 days because,
Right.
you were there a day before. Sometimes you were there the day after if something was going on and you had to stay. And so you had to buy breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, drinks,
Right.
Paper towels, paper plates, toilet paper, shampoos, all of that stuff for the week and a half, almost 2 weeks that you were there. One of those feasts fell for, it was 8 days.
Right.
And then you had to come back. It was 50 days later, but you really had to come back 47 days later.
Right. For that 1-day feast?
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know how we would have done it.
Well,
I'm just
because-
going to say we wouldn't have been able to afford it.
Right. Because back in the day, you were able to, like, if you had, let's say for Passover, you had second tithe left over at the end of that feast, you could put that aside and now use
Right.
that money to get to Pentecost. You can't do that anymore because now at the end of a feast, all of your leftover tithe money, second tithe money, has to be given as a free will offering. Anything that's left has to be donated to the House of Yahweh.
If
You
it
can't
has
keep
to be
any.
given, then that's an oxymoron. That's not a free will offering if they're telling you you have to give it. I mean, you can't talk out both sides of your mouth, right?
No.
You have to
Well-
give it, and it's a free will offering.
You know what that makes me think of? David Moise's interview where he said working for the House of Yahweh was like volunteering involuntarily.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
And so let me point out, and I know you guys aren't probably gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Let me point out to you what a mastermind Yeshua Hawkins was. These people cannot afford to travel from California, Michigan, Hawaii, Washington State. So now they're going to sell their property. Sandy, we've discussed that.
Right.
They have to pay tithe on it. They're going to
Right.
sell the property, pay tithes to me on it. And they're going to move down here to me, which I'm going to put them, promise them. We've done another interview on this, Mal.
A dwelling.
Good condition dwelling. They're going to pay rent on it, pay rent on the electricity,
Yeah.
work for me. I'm going to pay them pennies, and they're going to pay it back to me.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. There you go. Master plan.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I think the only way you actually could have done that, Mom, financially, was you guys would have had to you would have had to go in debt and put everything on a credit card to get down there. That's what you would have had to do.
Yeah.
That's the only way
Yeah,
you would have
you're
been able
right.
to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or thought, you know what, we're tired of being in debt. The best thing to do is to move down to this
Right.
place where we are going to be saved anyway,
Right?
Yeah.
protected.
Yep. No, Autumn,
And
you're
then-
right. That's probably why a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's why they all move there.
Yeah, that's probably why a lot of
Yes.
people do that. Yeah.
So it's a catch-22. And this is, Sandy, yes, you were there 25 years ago. But people that are watching today, that are there today, let me tell you guys something. If you're watching this and you live in Washington State and you're thinking they're a bunch of hooies, think about what I have just said to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is clicking in your brain. I know it is, because this is the truth. In
Oh, yeah.
this day and age, and this isn't 25 years ago where, only one person had to work where it wasn't as expensive. This is 2021 where everybody's got to work in the house just to make a living, just to make a life. Now you're
Yeah.
asking to travel?
Yeah.
Think about this, people who are watching,
Yep.
before you pack up and you move to Abilene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There
No.
it is, Mal.
Okay.
There it is. I'm off my soapbox now.
Okay. Well, no, the next question will make up for it. So that's good.
Okay, let's do this. Mom, I can't wait to hear this. What are some of your most positive memories of being in the House of Yahweh?
Have my best friend, Debbie. Yeah. Debbie and of course Nick, her husband. Those guys were amazing. I loved Debbie. Oh my God. I miss her so much. Yeah. that's, I gotta say, is my positive experience. And, you know, and there was a lot of other great people that I met, but Debbie was my best friend. Yeah.
And Maria for a short time.
And Maria for a short time. Maria's the one I met the very first feast.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think Debbie was more than just a best friend. You guys were family.
Yes,
Oh,
we were
definitely.
like family. Yeah, they came to visit us in Michigan. We came to Ohio a couple times to visit, and yeah, yeah, and she always made you feel welcome. And yeah, she was an amazing lady.
Oh, well, and the other thing
Absolutely.
is that we also did a lot where we would meet them in Wisconsin with the Wisconsin group, who we were also pretty
Yeah,
close to. I mean, we were very, very
yeah,
close to the
yeah. We
Wisconsin
were
group
yeah,
too.
because we went to Wisconsin a couple times for some Sabbaths. Yeah,
Yeah,
and we would caravan.
yeah, and we would and we would meet Nick and Deb there at times. We
Right,
would meet them
right,
there for a Sabbath. So
right,
even when they weren't coming to Michigan or we weren't going to Ohio, then you would meet in Wisconsin
right.
too. So
And we caravanned a lot with the Wisconsin group.
yeah, when we would head down to feasts. Yep.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
Are you
stuck in
jealous?
Kansas with nobody. I drove the 12 hours home by myself while y'all were on the bus partying it up.
Oh, you weren't all by yourself. You had your mom and dad and your brother.
Next question.
Okay, I this question I kind of added last minute, Mom, because I think I didn't think about it, but I do think it's important, and I think a lot of people are going to be curious. Can you tell us how you ended up? Because you are now married to Nick Johnsman, who we were just talking about, who is also part of the House of Yahweh. Can you tell us how you ended up marrying Nick? Because you're now married to Nick, living in Ohio. You're now Mrs. Johnsman.
I know, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that the great, the best ever?
Yes.
My soulmate. How I ended up with Nick. Well, you know, I've always liked Nick. You know, he was a great guy. I've always, you know, liked him and thought and we got along really well. You know, when we were at the feast, him and Deb and we would just laugh and have a good time. And how I ended up with Nick. Well, we ended up coming here
Well,
to
hold on.
Ohio.
Let me
What?
pause the story real quick. In case somebody has not seen Nicole, her daughter's interview,
Yep, that's
Right.
good.
Deb has passed.
Oh, yeah,
She has
Right.
gone on. She passed away because of skin cancer.
Right.
And Nick, she passed
In
10 years ago?
no,
Even-
18 years ago.
18? Okay.
I don't remember
Yeah.
the year. I wouldn't even know
All right.
a time frame.
Okay, so-
2001.
I'll believe you. I can't help you with that year.
Okay.
2001 she passed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
talking 19 years
Okay.
ago then.
Yeah.
18, 19.
All right. So go ahead, Sandy. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I needed people to be aware of this.
Right.
Yeah. So we were invited to Nicole's wedding here in Ohio.
Yep.
And then and of course I hadn't seen Nick in years, you know. And I knew he was single. I knew Deb had passed because I had called and he had given me that news. I called to talk to Debbie and he had to tell me that she had passed. And we just kind of connected. Even though I was still married to Bob, but you know, it was Bob. Come on. It's like,
Oh, Mom.
sorry, Bob. Yeah, but you know, I just you know, I got to tell you, be honest with you, when I first met Nick and Deb, there was something about Nick. I had this I can't even, like this energy spark in me. And it was a real, and I thought to myself, God, that's a weird feeling. And I thought to myself, you know, if he was single and I was single, I would so marry that guy. Yeah, really. That's what and I thought, you know what I think it was? I think it was the, you know, because the angels got whoever, the angels knew that Debbie's life book was going to be short. And I think it was just kind of not that I knew that, but just letting me know that, you know, you're going to be Nick's next wife. You're going to be Nick's wife down the road, because her life book was short.
And you didn't know that was that
No, I
specific
didn't
at
know
the time,
that at
right?
the time. No. Because who would want Debbie to be gone? I mean, she was my best friend.
Oh yeah.
I loved her. I still love her. I got pictures all over the house, you know, with Debbie and stuff, you know. I say goodnight to her every night. She's a picture on my nightstand. So, you know,
this wasn't planned, but since we're bringing up pictures in the house, Mom, I actually do want you to take that picture that's behind you, and I want you to bring that up to the screen. I want you to show people who that picture is of. Now bring it closer.
Closer?
How's
that?
That's that right there. That's good.
This is a picture of Nick's youngest daughter, Bettina, and her husband, Katan, which he has not,
Go ahead.
He has not seen or spoken to her, for 19 years.
Yeah.
Since Debbie passed, and he hasn't seen any of his grandkids. Yeah.
So.
But that's who that is, and so we got a picture of them here.
Who are still in the House of Yahweh, for anybody who didn't catch that as being the reason, but yes.
Yeah, and, you know, and he loves her, you know, and he misses her. Where is it? There we go. And I miss her. I remember Bettina when we were in the House of Yahweh, you know, and I would love to meet those grandkids. Yeah,
definitely.
It'd be awesome. So, anyways, we were invited to Nicole and Derek's wedding in Ohio, and of course we came, and that isn't how I ended up with Nick, but you know, we had a good time and connected and stuff, and then we went home.
It planted the seed.
Yeah, it did. Not that I would have divorced Bob for that reason, but it just happened that Bob was deeper into his drinking, his smoking pot. He was on the computer. He was absolutely addicted to the internet and talking to women on there. And I had suspicions, but I actually caught him at one time. You know, I caught him. Should I tell that story, Mel?
You can tell that, Mom. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay. Well, I knew something was going on. I was home on vacation from, you know, I worked at Munson, and I had to go get tires changed on my car. And I told Bob, he said, and I came back, and it's 10:30. Of course, he's still in the house, you know, smoking his pot and, you know, on the computer. And I never got on the computer because I was always afraid of technology. I never touched it. He would always leave his laptop open, because he had internet down at the shop too, his dad's shop, which was right down the hill from the house. And I would never touch his computer. He knew that, because I was afraid I'd wreck something. But I had prayed the night before. I said, you know what, God, here's the deal. I said, if you want me to stay with Bob the rest of my life and take care of him, I will do that. I will do that for you. And I said, but if you don't want me to stay, you need to show me a sign. Give me a sign. And the very next day, that prayer was answered, because he went down to the shop, and this nagging feeling just said, go in there at the computer. And I went in there, got right on, was it Skype?
Skype.
And I don't even know what Skype was, but I clicked on it, and oh my God, here comes a whole conversation that he was having with this girl from Canada.
Mind you, she was reading it live too, because
I was reading that,
and then
it was making me shake. I could not believe my eyes what I was reading, because it was, you know, sexual. And then all of a sudden, this live chat comes up. He's talking to her, down at the shop, and I'm reading this live. And he's chatting with her, and I'm reading this. I thought, oh, hell no. But I'm reading this, and then finally she says, well, she's got to go. And I'm writing her name down on a piece of paper. And when they got off the computer, I went down to the shop, and he's coming out of the office because he's talking to his girlfriend. And he said, he said, what you doing? I said, and I put that piece of paper right in its face. I said, know about your girlfriend? And he said, what did you do? I said, what did you do? I said, that's it. We're done. We're getting a divorce. And the very next day, we started the footwork. And we Mel and me and Carrie, they helped me through it all. And that was in July 8th. Know the date. And we were divorced, I think, September 28th.
Yep.
And then when I was divorced, of course, I had to give Nick a call. Hey, Nick, guess what? I'm divorced. He said, oh, I'm sorry to hear about that. I said, yeah, don't be sorry. So that was me getting the wheels turning. Yeah.
Yep.
Such a little hussy I am.
No, you're not. No.
No.
I think you already answered this, so you can give kind of a quick answer to this next question, Mom. Can you explain when and why you left the House of Yahweh? I think you kind of already told that, but.
Yeah, we left because of the multiple marriage.
Yeah.
You know, that was a exit stage left.
Yeah.
Yep. That is why we left. Because it was bullshit.
Yep.
Bullshit coming down the pipe. Yeah.
I love you. I love you.
She's not going to sugarcoat it.
No, you got to call bullshit when it's there.
I know. What have you done to work towards your healing since you've left?
To work towards my healing. Well, I'll tell you what. I have learned to take the good out of everything. You know, you have to. There's a positive in everything that happens in your life. There just is, because your life, it happens, what happens in your life happens for a reason. So you just have to take that and learn from it, learn from your mistakes, take the good out in everything, and just learn and grow.
And one of the things that you always say, too, is that without the House of Yahweh, you would have never met Nick. You wouldn't be where you are today. So that was one of your positives.
That was a big positive because, because I know if I would have been with Debbie on her deathbed, and Debbie would be just fine with me being with Nick because she knows I take good care of him, and we were best friends, and I'm taking good care of her husband, and yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm taking good for her husband. I love him.
So I'm super tired. I'm super emotional, and now I'm fixing to cry. Not with Sandy Johnsman should I ever be this emotional. What are you doing with me? Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of did this a little bit, Mom, but do you have any message that you want to give to anyone that is still in the House of Yahweh or even in another cult?
Yeah. Well, here would be, first of all, if you want to know if you're in a cult, you might want to answer these questions. Are they telling you, is this particular person telling you what to eat, what to wear, what you can read, what you got to look at on TV? Are they controlling your every move? Because if they are, if you don't have the free will to go and do what you want and have your own cognitive thinking, then you're in a cult. I mean, it's simple. And just everybody, in the House of Yahweh or anyone, know that you are loved. You are loved. And if you want to, there's people out here that will help you. Pick up the phone, give us a call, and we would be there in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Yeah, you're loved. And this is not a scary world out here. You know, you make your life what you make your life. You know, you got to find the good in it. You got to be happy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1000%. Mom, thank you for doing this with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank
Yes.
you for being such a prominent figure in my life from when I was
Oh.
very young.
Yes. Love
Um,
you.
I love you more than you'll ever know. I've
Mm.
always considered you, you know, my mom. Your daughters are my sisters.
Yes.
My childhood is filled with so many memories of them. I mean, shoot, Mel and I got married at the same time. We had babies at the same time. I mean,
Yeah.
we did it all at the same time, you know.
Absolutely.
And I just
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on here and for finally sharing your story. And whether you believe it or not, it is inspiring.
Definitely.
It is
Wonderful.
helpful. And the best part of your story is, people, I would like for you to look at this woman who said the best advice I've ever heard in my life. I don't listen to gossip. I go straight to the source. And,
Oh, yeah.
and she called so many times on quote unquote top authority figures. So many times she just point blank put it out there. And people, she's here today. And she's happy, and she's healthy, and she's living life. And I would have learned that lesson early on in my life. I ask that everybody like, share, subscribe to this YouTube page, go onto Facebook, Leaving the Lie, Speaking Your Truth, join the group, join the conversation, start talking, start getting this truth out there, start letting people know that there is a way out, whether it be in an abusive situation, it be in a cult, or it be in a religious experience that you're going through. Let's start talking, start sharing, subscribing to us. And Mom, I love you with all of my heart.
I love you too, Autumn.
I love you
It's
too,
good
Mom.
to-
And I'm just going to
I love
add
you
one.
too, Mel.
I love you, and I'm gonna add one more thing about that. Is that, again, I'm just gonna reiterate that this is a woman who thought she didn't have a story, and I think just by watching this, you know, she has a story. She has a very detailed story, and her experience was unique. All of our experiences are unique, whether you were in the House of Yahweh or another cult. You have a story, and if you need a platform, if you're looking for a place to share your truth and tell your story, contact us and we will get you on our list, because we would love to hear your story and allow you the platform to speak your truth as well. Thank you both for joining me.
My story had a good ending.
It did. An absolutely
I'm Mrs.
amazing.
Johnsman.
Yes.
I mean, ask for more.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Autumn, for joining us today. Thank you, Mom, for joining us. We have enjoyed this. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Love you.